Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our channel. Hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching our channel. Today marks the third day from the deadline of IEBC's submission of the nominated running mates. Well, let's go straight to Rigathi Gachagua's brother's funeral. And our main focus will be on the utterances that were made by Kipchumba Murkomen when he was actually given a chance to air out his condolences to the bereaved family. Kipchumba Murkomen must have either said some words which could be considered as a slip of the tongue, or maybe made them intentionally. We do not know why he made them, but at one point, when he was busy talking about the bad things that Raila Odinga has done, the reason why he should not be elected the president of the Republic of Kenya. And at one point, when he used an example of saying, if you're given a cake that has poison in it, then this cake is smeared on the top with something that is looking very much peeling. And that's something that is smeared on top of it, he was referring to as Karua. Would you still take that cake? That is a question he posed. He meant that Raila is not a worthy candidate for the presidency. He meant that Raila Odinga, the Azimio's flag bearer, is a man who is only focused on the past. Well, he said, in his own words, he said that William Ruto is a man who is focused on the future. Then he asked the people, would you vote for someone who is only hell-bent on talking about the past? Or would you vote for someone who is hell-bent on looking at the future? So in the midst of using those rhetorics, those examples, he mistakenly said, we will vote for Raila Odinga. Then somewhere along his speech he said, we're not voting for Ruto, we're not voting for Gachagua. I think if you look at that clip very well, I'm sorry I've not started posting clips, but if you look at that clip very well, you realize that at one point William Ruto was smiling. Then the moment Murkomen made those utterances, the smile just vanished. So William Ruto was like, what is Murkomen saying now? Why don't you just finish his speech? I mean, Ruto was pissed off. I mean, you know, some of these politicians, they make so many utterances to a level where by now they even forget whatever they were supposed to say. I think literally, Murkomen maybe might have not intended to say, we are voting for Raila. Maybe he meant to say, we are voting for William Ruto. But then because he was hell-bent on destroying Raila Molo's character, he ended up praising him. So the question is, what damage do you think that speech has made to the Kenya Kwanza team? Of course, you know, it's plain, it's clear that you cannot focus on the future if you're forgetting about the past. So you have to know where you came from so that you can know where you're going from. You can't just wake up and say, I want to go to Meru. Okay, fine, you're going to Meru, but why are you going to Meru? So for you to get the reason why you're going to Meru, you must of all ask yourself, where did I start from? So what Azimio flag bearer and the running mate are saying, Kenya had a future. But this future, there was some mess somewhere. That's why we could not arrive at our journey, at our destination, I mean. So what Raila Odinga and Karua have been saying is that, listen, we started from A. Well, we were supposed to end to Z, but our journey seems to have stalled at at J. So then why are we at J and not at Z? So that's why you need to look at A so that you can know that, okay, well, I started at A, I was going steadily. While going steadily, then where did I mess? Why didn't I reach Z in time? Yes. So that is what I think Azimio have been talking about. if I'm not wrong. Because, you know, Raila keeps saying that there was a time in the early 60s, 70s, 80s, that Korea was actually almost had the same, the GDP was almost the same as ours. But then there must have been a problem somewhere. Why now Korea is far much ahead of us? That's why we are importing things from their country. So that's what Raila has been talking about so many, in most of his campaign, he keeps referring to that country. Because we were economically in the same, we were actually the same economically. But then all of a sudden, these people just, have made tremendous steps in the economy. Look at the manufacturing. If you go to Korea very well, I mean, you don't have to go physically, but if you Google and look at the manufacturing items in Korea, you look at the items we import from Korea, you will realize that Kenya has immense potential, but we are yet to exhaust these potentials. So that's why Kipchumba Murkomen ought to have understood that you cannot think about your future if you don't know about your past. You first of all have to know where you're coming from before you can even forge ahead. Like, for example, me, I always ask myself, where did I start all the IT things? I must have started from A. So now where am I heading? Well, I want to accumulate this number of clans. So that's how I judge my work. So Raila Amolo Odinga did not make any mistake, or has not been making any mistake, by reminding Kenyans where we came from. He knows that he's been talking to the youths. Most of youths these days do not want to bother about knowing where our country came from. I mean, the history of our country, the past, our forefathers. Most of our youth do not understand these details. Or rather, they don't even know these details. So, what I'm literally trying to say is that Kipchumba Murkomen, in his speech, made a terrible mistake, and this terrible mistake pissed off the deputy president and the Kenya Kwanza flag bearer. So what we're saying, politicians, sometimes you need to watch your words. As much as you want to destroy or demean the other, always make sure your words are calculated, my friend. If your words are not calculated, my friend, you're going to end up praising the other instead of demeaning the other. Just similar to what Kipchumba Murkomen has done. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we even continue, please take a moment and subscribe to our channel to support us if you are a first-time visitor. But if you are a subscriber, please give us a thumbs up. Below there, thumbs up. Just click on that button. By doing that, YouTube's algorithm increases our experience in YouTube. Well, dear viewers, Kipchumba Murkomen went ahead and described Ruto Gachagua as the best ticket as compared to Raila Karua. What do you think? Do you think the gender factor will play a major role in Azimio's votes? Well, we saw in Meru there was numerous defections. We saw in Western Kenya some ANC candidates ended up defecting to Azimio because of the 70% which actually Ruto gave to Mudavadi as a threshold for him to become the chief minister, and as a threshold to Wetangula, for Wetangula to get the speaker's position. So the question that most lawyers were asking themselves, okay, fine, what if Wetangula and Mudavadi cumulatively acquire 50%, which is impossible, by the way, considering the numerical strengths of ODM and the Azimio. It's likely to be, even 50% for each is going to be a challenge. We're likely to see 40% for Kenya Kwanza and 60% for Azimio. I mean, that is the likely scenario because of the many defections that have rocked ANC party, and the many defections that have rocked Ford Kenya party. Many they come to the DP and Wamunyinyi's party, and many they come to ODM. So Those are the most casualties for Kenya, and ANC ended up to DAPK and ODM. So the threshold that the Mudavadi were given and Wetangula were given makes it impossible for Mudavadi and Wetangula to acquire the even 50%. So what if the thing that we are trying to focus on is, what if they don't get that number? That means the Luhya will not get the seat. And that's why most of the residents within the Western Bloc are now thinking Azimio, because they are really saying is that if Azimio nominated the governor for Kakamega, Oparanya, as a minister for finance unconditionally, if he nominated Marende for the Senate speak unconditionally, and previously, if they look at history that Murkomen is trying to denounce, the history that previously Marende was actually supported for the post of the parliament speaker unconditionally. Mudavadi also made a deputy prime minister unconditionally. They asked themselves, I say that, is it Azimio the best house? I think that's a point. So Kipchumba Murkomen should flash back before asking people, telling people that Raila Karua ticket is not the best. He should actually flash back to those days when Raila was the prime minister. Look at the CS who are nominated not on tribal grounds. Look at you need to, as a leader, you're supposed to tell people the truth so that we citizens can actually make informed decisions. But if you end up misleading us, you make us make wrong choices, then we plunge the country into problems, more problems. At this moment, we Kenyans will stand with the truth and make the informed decision. It could be Kenya Kwanza, it could be Azimio, or it could be Oka's Wiper. So dear viewers, I would like to leave you with those few remarks. But until then, have a lovely day. Bye-bye.